You're listening to For the Republic, a love letter to Star Wars animation.
But now let's talk about Mando and Grogu. The first teaser trailer dropped, and as I said in my little trailer thoughts that I did earlier in the week, this is a teaser trailer in every sense of the word to me. I had fun with it. It did really nothing to move the needle for my excitement for the movie. I know based on your reactions, I think you enjoyed it more than I did. But I walked in like, I don't know how excited I am for this. And I walked out like, I don't know how excited I am for this. But I will say it did look better visually than I was expecting. Because that was the one thing I was worried about. Because, again, it's hard to judge those clips we have seen at Celebration and D23 because we weren't actually there. We were just watching it from like a fan cam. But they looked kind of rough to me, in my opinion. So I was a little worried going in that this was going to look like a TV show budget on the big screen. And we've kind of seen, again, this is on a way smaller scale, but the Clone Wars movie doesn't look like a theatrical release at all. So I was worried it was going to be another one of those. But at least from the trailer, I have some problems with the color scheme. But the visuals, at least, like the AT-AT scene, looked a lot cooler than I was expecting.
Yeah.
But since you haven't been able to say anything about this trailer yet, what were your big thoughts on the Mando trailer?
Well, like I said on Twitter, like it might have just been because, like as we said earlier, like there were just the last few like months on that website have just been absolute hell, and just like
Sure.
you know, seeing that kind of stuff, it gets you down in a lot of ways. You know, you feel like a little powerless sometimes to like seeing the world kind of slide towards authoritarianism in some respects, but like seeing that trailer, it did admittedly put a smile on my face. It doesn't really have a lot in the way of plot, although there's enough there that I can sort of infer what the movie is about. I have a bit of a theory currently as to what the actual thrust of the plot is going to be, but you know, the visuals are all pretty neat as well. You know, it's more Mando, it's more Grogu. You know, I know some people aren't happy that he has the Razor Crest back. I'm kind of like shrug shoulders about it. What I was happy to see was that he has his pulse rifle back. That thing is awesome, and I'm like, if he's not gonna have the dark saber anymore, he should have the pulse rifle because that thing just rules. But yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff here. We got Zeb in action with his bow rifle. Yeah, it was nice.
Zeb got his own hallway scene.
Yes,
that was awesome.
My dude has to smash some Stormtrooper helmets together. We have to see it. We finally got like an HD look at Buff Rotter going, yes!
Yeah!
So I think my theory is going to be true that it's just going to be Jeremy Allen White speaking like with the slightly modulated voice, but he's just going to be speaking basic. No Huttese for the most part. But yeah, it looks really good. I think they're keeping a lot reserved in terms of what is actually in the movie and what the movie is about. It's the same kind of tactic they employed for the Mandalorian shows, especially season 2, because there was a lot in season 2. You know, Ahsoka, Cobb Vanth, Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker, Bo-Katan, all appearing from episode to episode, and none of it was in the trailers. They kept so much back. And it really worked because it made every episode feel like an event in a lot of ways. But yeah, also the poster I have to comment on.
The poster. Cool... I liked the poster more than the actual trailer itself. It was so
the poster's really cool. It's got a really cool Western throwback vibe. I just love the look of it. It also revealed an interesting detail to me, which is what's forming the basis of my theory here, is that the Hutt twins from the Book of Boba Fett are on the cover. And so if you don't mind, I'm going to just kind of hit you here with the theory that I've got. So I like the way the plot is kind of developing here for me, because you also in the trailer you see a Hutt vault, a vault with the Hutt symbol on it. So it's clear that this film is going to go into the workings of the Hutt clan, and I think it's going to build off of the previous shows in an interesting way, because the way the galaxy's set up in the New Republic era, you know, you've got the New Republic scrambling to try and intercept all the different Imperial remnant threads causing chaos and stuff, you know. So you've got the precursor to the Resistance with a Delphi base, you know. They're like these scrappy rebels who are trying to deal with the threats, but they're underfunded. They don't have enough resources, so they need people like Mando. You've got the Book of Boba Fett establishing how the Hutt twins are trying to seize parts of Jabba's empire. You've got Skeleton Crew showing how, and the Mandalorian season 3 showing how, in the absence of all of this, of the New Republic having a foothold in the galaxy, pirates and bounty hunters and criminal cartels are all like seizing territory and stuff. And even if you go by the comics, if you've read the comics, especially the Charles Soule run, you'll know that the Hutt clan was pretty much just consolidated to Jabba, but Darth Vader wiped out the entire Hutt council. Yep. Yeah, except for Jabba, which was part of Jabba's plan. He wanted to consolidate all the Hutt Empire as resources for himself. So this is where my theory comes in as to why Rotta is important here. I think the Jabba will have a will of some kind that leaves the resources to Rotta, and the Hutt twins want to get rid of Rotta so they can have the resources. And because Rotta might be amenable to the New Republic want Mando to protect him so that they can have access to Rotta's resources. And then you could also, like, just to kind of make the conflict more clear cut, you could say that the Hutt twins want to work with the Imperial remnants. So that's why you've got Imperial remnants for Mando to fight here with Zeb. I just think it ties everything together in an interesting way. And it also, well, it makes sense to me. It gives like Rotta this kind of like, I don't know, maybe reluctant heir to the throne kind of storyline where, he's clearly, as a gladiator, he prefers getting in the fray and scrapping. He doesn't want to rule. He's a reluctant king, basically. And again, you could involve Boba Fett here. I would personally love to see Tamira Morrison
I would love to see it. I think he's said that he's not in this season, and I hope that's not true. I hope he's in here, because especially if it's linked to Jabba, and so much of Book of Boba Fett was about Boba Fett taking over his enterprise, it would make sense for Boba to be in here. I'm assuming we're going to have a lot of surprises, because Mando has always been that like toy box kind of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Favreau and Filoni have talked about. And I feel like that on the big screen, you're going to have a few moments. Like they already had some fun creatures in here. One of the creatures from one of the Dejarik boards showed up in live action, which is
the
really
Mantelian
cool.
Savrip. Like, okay, see, I didn't know that was the monster from the board, and my brother pointed it out to me, and I was like, you know what? That's such a Favreau thing to do. Like, Mando's gonna fight the big monster from the Dejarik board, and it looks really cool. Like,
say what you will about Mando season 3, and I can say a lot, but they gave us the fucking Mythosaur in live action, so like we can get anything in this movie. And I'm excited about that.
Mando season 3 for me was strongest when it was doing the week-to-week stuff. It struggled with the ongoing things because it was trying to compress probably like 2 seasons worth of Mandalore like stories into 1 season, plus a hypothetical spin-off with Rangers of the New Republic. Like, I get the sense if we had that show, we wouldn't have gotten the episode with the 2 ex-Imperials. Like, we just wouldn't have, because we would have had the other show to explore that. But I'm excited for where this is going, really. I think they're getting us back on course after season 3 like struggled to balance things. I think a really straightforward adventure narrative. I think it's gonna do really well. I was worried for it at the box office in terms of like it getting represented there, because it was releasing alongside Doomsday, and I was like, no, this is Solo all over again.
Yeah, it's happening again. I literally clenched my teeth when I saw that it was sticking with that. I'm like, no.
And that was before. And that was before they did the whole like live stream with the chairs, and we realized this is going to be an Avengers versus X-Men film.
Yep, I was terrified. But now Star Wars' first movie in what's going to be almost 7 years by the time this comes out is going to have May virtually all to itself, which hopefully is going to be a good thing. I'm not expecting like breaking the box office numbers, but I think it'll do fairly well just based off of Grogu and the Mandalorian alone. Because
the Mando is such a popular show.
Yeah,
like
it is
even
so
season
popular.
3 even season 3, like with the way people talk about it online, you'd think no one watched it, barely anyone liked it. And then you actually look at the viewing figures that were released. It was the most watched streaming show of 2023, like over shows that were considered more popular. So it's like there is a massive audience for this thing because audiences have thoroughly embraced like Mando and Grogu as a pairing. So it just, I just think the
Grogu's
film
their cash cow now, so it's gonna bring in. It might bring in people that have never even seen a Star Wars movie in theaters before because hey, look, it's Baby Yoda. Let's go see that, and they should have a good time,
baby.
I like that we have 2 lines of dialogue in the whole trailer. One is Mando saying something after Rada, and then one is that at the very end.
It's great little
end to the trailer there. And it's just wild that we have Sigourney Weaver in Star Wars. Like, we've known this was happening. But like, and I like that she reacts differently with Grogu than what we've seen with like Pelimoto and like Grief Karga. And I think she's going to be like this movie's version of Grief, like going to give the one that gives Mando his overall mission. And like Grogu tries to move something with the Force and she just stops it right then and there. So nice little
There's
hint
another
there.
theory I have. So you know that the creature is, by the way, is a Mantelian Savrip, and there is the potential, like, because the arena they're at is on Ord Mantell, and Grogu would look like he might be eating Mantell mix. So there is a possibility, Andrew. I'm just saying, steel yourself.
I thought about this. I thought about this, and I was like, do I have to put a camera on myself during this movie just in case there's a small chance that a freaking Trandoshan voiced by Rhea Perlman shows up in this movie? Because someone said the Ord Mantell, and I was like, oh no. Like, I like that my mind doesn't go to the Bad Batch. Doesn't go to anything like that. It goes to I'm terrified. Favreau would do it too, because Filoni would be like, we have this, existing thing on Ord Mantell, a little shady character Mando can do a job for.
Exactly, and we all know that Favreau collects 80s actors like Infinity Stones with this show, so it is a possibility. I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm worried that you'll have. I'm worried that you're going to have the opposite reaction that everyone watching No Way Home had when Andrew Garfield came out of the portal and everyone was like, yay!
It's going to be me walking out of the theater is what it's going to be. They're like, why is that one dude so mad right now? Like, everyone's like, what is going on? And then there's just me dying. It reminds me of when I did see No Way Home, and I was the only one in the theater that reacted to Matt Murdock showing up, and that hurt me. That's going to be the reverse of that. I'm going to be the only one in the theater screaming at Sid when everyone else has no idea what's going on.
It's like, it's very sincere. No! Rings out across the audience.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
I hate that so much, but I think the bad part is I can see it happening, which I don't like. But again, there was very little in terms of story. There was very little in terms of who are. We know the Hutt twins are going to play a major role because they're on the poster. I don't think they're going to be our main villains. I think we're going to see someone else, whether that's an Imperial warlord, whether that's, I know, a certain hat-wearing bounty hunter that isn't Cad Bane has been hinted at. I'm interested.
Also might be a cameo appearance from.
I think that
Grand
might be
Admiral Thrawn.
I think that might be like a before the last scene kind of thing where he shows up.
He has his emperor moment. Yes.
Yeah. I overall, I mean, talking about it more has gotten me more excited for it. I will admit that. But I'm still like, beforehand I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Now I'm like, I still am like, I want to see the movie. I'm excited to see the movie. I'm not overly hyped for it yet because I just don't know enough. And I was like, hopefully this trailer doesn't moves me from this just feels like an extended episode of the show. And right now it feels to me like an extended episode of the show. I'm hoping that once we get another trailer and we really go balls to the wall with the marketing, when we get closer to the movie, I'm going to change my tune. And it's a Star Wars movie. So obviously I'm going to see it and I'm going to be excited and I should have a good time. And especially because we haven't had one since 2019. I feel like when we get into the few weeks beforehand, I'm going to be like, let's freaking go. Right now, I'm just like, it's happening. I'll watch it. We'll see.
I would like to close by adding that this is going to be another movie that's part of a spin-off series that releases after the end of a Star Wars trilogy that has Rotter the Hutt as both a character and a major plot point.
That's how you bring Star Wars back to the theater, guys.
Yeah.
Is you have Rotter the freaking Hutt. There,
like poetry, it rhymes.
Poetry, it rhymes. Literally, our first episode ever, we talked about Rada's one of very few appearances, and now 98 episodes later, here we are talking about Rada's next appearance in Star Wars.
Played by the guy from The Bear.
Yep, it's crazy. I would say we can have what's his name? The Thing back again.
Evan Moss Bacharach.
Yeah, but he got shot by Cassian Andor, so he's not coming back.
Justified.
For this one. Exactly.